Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the national anthem. All members in uniform are required to salute, and civilian male spectators are required to remove their headdress.
How many minutes? 2.5 minutes, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
Excellencies, Majesties, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure and privilege to invite the President of the Republic of South Africa to address us. Mr. President, Makgofi ba gaetsho, emellang ba gaetsho.
Thank you. Let us be seated, please. Program directors, Your Majesties, our kings and queens, Your Excellencies, heads of state and government, former President Thabo Mbeki and Mrs. Mbeki, former President Kgalema Motlanthe and Mrs. Motlanthe, former Deputy President David Mabuza, former Deputy President Baleka Mbete, former President Phumzile Mlambo Ngcuka, all former heads of state and government assembled here, distinguished representatives of representative countries and all international organizations, the Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, the Chairperson and Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, the Chief Justice of the Republic of South Africa, and members of the judiciary, premiers, MECs, and mayors, members of parliament, leaders of political parties, religious and traditional leaders, ambassadors, and high commissioners, veterans of our struggle, distinguished guests, members of the military command, General Rudzani Mapwanya, General Fani Masemola, the Commissioner of Police, fellow South Africans. Today we gather under the vast, high-felled, slightly hot sky at the seat of our government, the Union Buildings, to witness before all South Africans, accompanied by our honored guests, heads of state and government from various parts of our continent and from far afield from a number of countries, to observe a fundamental right of our democracy. In our brilliant diversity as South Africans, we gather to affirm our solemn conviction that this country belongs to all who live in it, as articulated in the Freedom Charter almost 70 years ago. We gather here as the people born of the same soil across our 9 provinces that make up our unitary South Africa, determined that by our deeds we shall heal the divisions of our past and overcome the ongoing inequalities and hardships of the present. We declare to all to know that neither discord nor dissent shall cause us to cast aside that which calls us to build a united, free, just, equal, and prosperous nation. On this day, we assert by solemn oath the will of the people of this country. We affirm our unwavering fidelity to the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, which is based on the enduring vision that sets out the values inscribed in the Freedom Charter. As the leadership of this diverse nation, we have a sacred duty to unite the people of South Africa. We affirm that history has placed on our shoulders the responsibility to transform our country into a non-racial and non-sexist and prosperous society. We affirm our determination to build a more equal and caring society. Yes, we do affirm our resolute quest to build a growing and inclusive economy that creates jobs, offers opportunities and livelihoods to all our people. We rededicate ourselves to the task of democratic renewal and social and economic transformation so that no one feels and is left behind. And so, as we enter another era in the life of our nation, the resilience of our democracy has once more been tested, and the people have spoken loudly that they choose peace and democracy over conflict, violence, undemocratic and unconstitutional methods. In their multitudes, in their voices that are many and diverse, the people of South Africa have voted and have made known their wishes, their concerns, and their aspirations. We accept and respect the results of the elections, and once again we say, yes, the people of South Africa have spoken, and we accept. Their will shall be done without any doubt or any question. The voters of South Africa did not give any single political party the full mandate to govern our country alone. They have directed us to work together to address their plight and realize their aspirations. They have expressed their appreciation of the progress in many areas of their lives over the past 30 years of democracy. They have also been unequivocal in expressing their disappointment and disapproval of our performance in some of the areas in which we have failed them. They want a transformed, growing, and inclusive economy that creates jobs for millions of job seekers and offer business opportunities to entrepreneurs in our nation, women, men, young and old. The people have been clear about what they want. They want a South Africa in which all may find shelter in our democratic constitution and may find protection in our courts. They have described a country in which all may rise above the circumstances of their birth, nurtured by loving families, aided by a caring state, and empowered by initiative, will, and hard work. Through their votes, they have made clear that they want the basic necessities of a life that is comfortable, happy, healthy, and secure. Through their votes, they asserted that they want enough food to eat, water that is clean, affordable electricity that is available at all times. They want decent homes that keep out the wind, the rain, and the cold. They want well-maintained roads and street lights that work. The people of South Africa have asked no more than to be properly cared for when they are sick. They want the young people of our country to be taught well, for the elderly to be cared for, and for those without work to work. The people of South Africa have spoken about the land they want to farm, about the businesses they want to run, about the things and products they want to make, about the skills they want to learn. They have spoken of their desire to be safe in their homes, on the streets, in their cities, in their villages, and on their farms. The people have demanded an end to the theft of public funds and the capture of the state. Above all, the people of South Africa have stressed that they are impatient with political bickering and the endless blame game amongst politicians and political parties. They want us to put their needs and aspirations first, and they want us to work together for the sake of our country. Today, I stand before you as your humble servant to say that we have heard you. As the President of the Republic of South Africa, I will work with everyone to reach out and work with every political party and sector that is willing to contribute to finding solutions to the challenges our country faces as we transition to a new decade of freedom. 30 years have passed since we turned our back on racial tyranny and embraced an open and democratic society. We've made great strides in building a new society that is founded on strong democratic institutions and universal freedoms. We have built a transformed public service, an independent judiciary, a competitive electoral system, a sophisticated economy, a vibrant and free media, and a robust civil society. And yet, despite this progress, our society remains deeply unequal and highly polarized. There are toxic cleavages of an incipient social fragmentation that can only turn into instability. The lines drawn by our history and our past, between black and white, between men and women, between suburbs and townships, between urban and rural, between the wealthy and the poor, remain still deeply etched in our landscape. In places, these lines may have faded, but they have not disappeared. We are citizens of one country, and yet we occupy different worlds, separated by high walls and great distances. We are divided between those who have jobs and those who do not work, between those who have the means to build and enjoy a comfortable life and those who do not. And so today, my fellow South Africans, is no ordinary day. It is a moment of fundamental consequence in the life of our nation. It is a moment when we must choose to either move forward together or risk losing all we have built. In this moment, we must choose to move forward, to close the distances between South Africans and to build a more equal society, to translate the promise of our Constitution and the vision of the Freedom Charter into a reality for all. This moment requires extraordinary courage and leadership. It requires a common mission to safeguard national unity, peace, stability, inclusive economic growth, non-racialism, and non-sexism. Through the ballots that they have cast, the people of South Africa have made plain their expectation that the leaders of our country should work together. They have directed their representatives to put aside animosity and dissent, to abandon narrow interests, and to pursue together only that which benefits the nation. As leaders, as political parties, we are called upon to work in partnership towards a growing economy, better jobs, safer communities, and a government that works for all the people of South Africa. From across the political spectrum, parties have answered this call, understanding that no party can govern alone and make laws alone. These parties have agreed to work in partnership to employ their talents for the good of the country and the progress of the people of South Africa. Together, they have resolved to establish a government of national unity to pursue a common program of fundamental and lasting change. The formation of a government of national unity is a moment of profound significance. It is the beginning of a new era. As the leaders of this country came together in a government of national unity 30 years ago to forge a common future and build a united nation, the parties in the government of national unity of today have agreed to work together to address the most pressing challenges before our nation. The parties have adopted a statement of intent in which they have committed to pursue rapid, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, to create more of a just society by tackling poverty, to safeguard the rights of workers, to stabilize government and build state capacity. The parties have made a commitment to invest in South Africa's people through quality education and health care, to address crime and corruption together, to strengthen social cohesion and build a united nation together, and to pursue a foreign policy based on human rights, solidarity, and peace. As South Africans, we must each do what we can to achieve this mission, wherever we are, whether we are in business, in labor, in civil society. This moment calls on all of us to work together and join hands. We will seek, as we move forward, to consolidate this working together through convening a national dialogue which should bring all South Africans through their various formations together so that we can chart a way forward to forge a social compact to realize the aspirations of our national development plan. As individuals, as families, as communities, and in our many formations, let us draw on our every strength to turn our dream for a better South Africa into reality. Even as we are united in our diversity, we are a people of deep and abiding faith. We pray for our nation, as our religious leaders just did, for our spirits to be lifted, for our fortunes to be restored. We owe this noble mission our courage. We must be brave and we must be bold. This is a new tide that heralds progress, transformation, and deep fundamental change. We look to this rising tide with optimism and hope. We must reject every attempt to divide or distract us, to sow doubt and cynicism, or to turn us against one another. Those who seek to stand in our way, those who seek to inflame tensions in our country, will not succeed, because South Africans are resolute. Those who seek to undermine our institutions will fail, because democracy lives in the hearts of all our people and shall never be dislodged. Nothing will distract us from serving the people and advancing their interests. Now is the time to move forward. Together, we will and we can do more and better as South Africans. Now is the time to assemble all our capabilities and to direct all our energies to answer the call of the people of South Africa. We dare not linger. We dare not rest until we have created jobs for those who need them, until there is enough food on every table, until every person in every town, city, village, or farm receives the basic services they need for a decent life. We dare not rest until the women of South Africa are free from the social and cultural and economic constraints that hold back their progress. We cannot rest until the young people of our country get jobs and can see progress in their own lives. We cannot rest until criminals are off our streets and the drugs are out of our communities. Until men no longer perpetrate violence against women and children. Until those who steal from the people are held accountable. We dare not rest while our communities are ravaged by flood, fire, and drought. Together, we will confront the threat of a rapidly warming planet. We will accept our responsibility to respond to climate change in a manner that is ambitious, just, and inclusive. We do this for the sake of this generation and those that will follow. We will build a government that is capable and honest. Together we will work to promote multilateralism for a fairer and more just and more equal, compassionate world, founded on solidarity and universal human rights. We will join hands with our brothers and sisters across our beloved region here in SADC, our beloved continent of Africa, to find peace, to achieve stability, to advance development through the African Continental Free Trade Area, through the construction of roads, rail lines, factories, and power stations. Africa will embark on a new age of production and commerce. Today, I make a solemn commitment to be a president for all South Africans, not of some South Africans. To defend our Constitution and to protect our democracy. To work with all those who share the dream of a better life for all. To care for the poor, the vulnerable, and to support all those who are in need. And to make our country stronger, more resilient, more equal, and more united. This is the dream that the poet Sandile Dikeni describes in his work called Love Poem for My Country. My country is for health and wealth, he says. See the blue of the sky, and beneath the jewels of fish, deep under the bowels of soil, hear the golden voice of a miner's praise for my country. My country is for unity. Feel the millions. See their passion. Their hands are joined together, and there is hope in their eyes. On this day, our hands are joined together. We are united as South Africans. We are full of hope. Let us carry this hope to permeate throughout our nation so that everyone can join hands to build the South Africa of our dreams. God bless South Africa and protect its people. Nkosi sikelela iAfrika, Morena buluka sichaba sa Yesu. God sien South Africa. Modzemu patuchedza Afrika Chipembe. Hosi katekisa Afrika. Chief Justice, I thank you.